Yo, what is good? Hope you're doing well. So in this video we're playing on the iPhone XR. Now there's two issues. I'm still having the crashes and it's just on Verdansk, BR and on Plunder. Now I think this is due to a memory leak in the game and it's affecting many devices. What makes me think that is someone posted on an Android device which allows them to monitor the usage of their like CPU and memory and things, and they got an error message saying abnormal usage, and that would be like a memory dump, and that would force close the app. So it does correlate with the behavior of the crashes and the heat it creates excess heat because your RAM's not performing optimally. So that could be the result of the crashing problem. Outside of the crashing, if I run rebirth, it runs fine, as in there is no crashes, but sometimes upon finishing the match and exiting back to the lobby, it will then crash in the lobby, but I can actually complete the match. So that's a problem. Another thing that I think that could potentially be an issue for multiple devices is it's not getting to the optimization screen. If you look at the video before this one where I do the update on the iPhone 12 review, the third picture in that video, which is right at the start, it shows you the picture, it shows you the screen that you need to see in order for your phone to actually optimize and compile the shaders properly. If you're not getting that, you are running the game with the shaders not compiled properly, and the game will never optimize during this update. I don't mean forever, so don't think doom and gloom. I don't mean forever, but until they fix that issue. Because what makes me say that is I've played on the XR all day and I've still not got to that screen. There's at least 4 or 5 hours of gameplay and the iPhone 12 got to that screen much quicker. So it's making me think, and I know for a fact that that was the issue in the last update before this patch, because all of my devices, the 12, 13 and the XR, none of them got to that optimization screen compiling the shaders, blah blah blah. So that could potentially be the issue why this isn't compiling and optimizing. So the general performance overall is always going to be down because you're not at the stage that you need to be for the phone to start doing its magic, and then you'll know where you are and things will be a lot smoother and there'll be less heat, etc, etc. So in conclusion, in this video, the first video that we're watching is low graphics, and 54 frames was the constant average. So it might have gone higher, but it shouldn't have really gone too much lower, or it would have chose a lower frame rate for the rendering. So 54 frames, very smooth, feels very responsive, but because it's not compiled and not optimized, how I can explain it, it's almost as if you were on ice. So if you imagine trying to stop yourself or move around on ice, like you're still in control of what you're trying to do, but there's this slippery, floaty, uncontrolled feeling behind that underlying. So that's how I can sort of explain the touch sensitivity side of it. It feels good, but there's moments where you still just feel a bit disconnected from it, and it's not that the sensitivity is too high, it's just like there's some overrun, or sometimes it's not picking it up quick enough, and so that's how I can explain that sort of feeling. But in general, I can tell you there is definite improvements, because it definitely feels snappier and it definitely feels smooth, the frame rate, even in this unoptimized state. So there's definitely improvements. The render glitches on Prison and running through here, this was always problematic, and because we're not optimized, this is expected. I'd like to see this resolved, but at the same time, this was never like a massive issue. I'd rather like a bit of the corridor colours not render, but my enemies render and I'm running smooth, than everything else is rendered and not smooth, I'm dropping frames and my enemies are invisible. So on the grand scheme of things, I don't think it's a massive issue, and it is kind of expected due to, like I keep saying, the optimization screen hasn't come up. So I'll have to report back on that when I've played some more games and hopefully can get to that screen. If not, then that is a confirmed bug, and that's why a lot of people are dealing with bad performance, because they're never going to get their phone optimized because it's not getting to that stage. So now let's discuss high graphics. That starts at 6 minutes and 7 seconds. I will try and put some markers in the YouTube comments, so you can skip straight to that if you wish, or you can do it obviously manually. But yeah, 42 frames was the constant average, and that's what it rendered at in high graphics. I think that's pretty reasonable given the state that it's in. Again, it still felt very responsive. The heat it's not crazy, but it's definitely there, because I think there's a RAM issue, memory leak issue. I also think the issue of it not compiling adds to the heat because everything's working harder than it needs to. But personally, if I was playing on the iPhone XR, I would always choose low graphics. The higher the graphics, the longer the render time, and on a phone that hasn't got the CPU power, that's the last thing you want. It's better to play on low graphics and have a lower render time. Things will feel more responsive, and you're less likely to drop those frames in those crucial moments. So I think 42 is pretty reasonable, considering it will probably, I think if you got to an optimized stage and all the shaders were compiled properly, I think you could probably push 50 frames on high graphics, and that would be very reasonable, and I'd have no complaints. Like, you've got to be realistic with your expectations. This is a 6-year-old phone now, and it's only got the 3GB minimum requirement of RAM, so there doesn't leave much system resources in the kitty for the phone to actually run. And like I say, I would imagine you'd get about 60 frames in low graphics if everything was compiled and optimized properly, which you cannot have any complaints. It's the refresh rate of your screen, so any more is a waste. So if you can get 60 frames in low graphics on Rebirth, that's ideal, as long as it's smooth and you get rid of that desyncy feeling. Like, I wouldn't struggle to play like this, how it is right now, but I know it can be better, so I'm not going to talk for too long. I hope this has been helpful, and I will try some other settings. Currently I'm just using the battery optimization mode with uncapped, because I've found on the iPhone 12 that was the most consistent for maintaining my frame rate without having too many drops and things. So that's currently what I've been trying. You could put it to optimize for frame rate and not the battery, but when the shaders aren't compiled, I don't think that's a good idea, because you're just going to create excess heat, and that's going to then drop the frames, and it's just not going to be an ideal situation. So I'm going to wrap it up there. I will also post, I've got some footage. I played Plunder. Like I say, that's still crashing for me. I had 2 crashes in that match. I did play a match this morning of Plunder, and they're all real people. I squad wiped a team on landings, killed 4 people, and then I got another 6 kills throughout the game, and this was with crashing twice in that match, which takes ages to rejoin. So it was decent, and there were some decent players in that lobby. So to get 10 kills while the phone was still optimizing and not at its optimum, I was quite happy with that, and everything felt quite decent. I was like winning hard gunfights. So like I say, I just need it to get to that optimization screen, and then it can start to do its work, and then you know where you're at. So I'm gonna shut up, love you and leave you. Peace out, catch you in the next one. There will be some more uploads. I'll try get some multiplayer uploaded. I won't have the iPhone 13 videos until probably tomorrow. But yeah, I will make sure I get some more footage of the iPhone 12 playing multiplayer, some BR games. I'll get some rebirth, low and high graphic videos up. But yeah, anyway, catch you in the next one. Bye.
Fighting's done. The area's cleared out. Enemy dropping into the AO.
Enemy down! Need recon overhead!
Copy that. UAV online and orbiting the AO. Be advised, UAV is exiting the AO.
That's a win. Proper job.